Should you buy an existing cleaning business or start your own from scratch? Make the wrong choice and it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. But don't worry, today I'm sharing the real pros and cons of buying an existing cleaning business, what starting from scratch actually looks like. We're also going to discuss a smarter approach that most cleaning business owners flat out just miss, and which option is going to give you the best chance at real success. All right, but just to be very clear, I do have a bias, but I'm going to be starting objective. And I think you'll be surprised at which option is going to make sense for most people. So let's start by looking at buying an existing cleaning business. First, we're going to start with the pros. Pro number one, you're going to have money coming in from day one instead of waiting weeks or months to land your first client, which is ultimately why most people do like this option. Pro number two, existing systems. Now, the cleaning procedures and the customer management systems are hopefully already established, which is a huge pro. Pro number three, you have staff in place. When you buy a business, you get a team that knows the clients already and their specific needs. That's another pro. And in pro number four, it's a proven service. The business has shown that it's going to attract customers in that area, so it's nothing you even have to worry about. But if it's a new business for you, it doesn't hurt to really help your belief. Now, if you add these four pros up, you're off to a strong start. But let's now discuss what the seller of this business is not likely to tell you about, and that's the cons. So starting with con number one, it's expensive entry. Now, a cleaning business making $150,000 in top line revenue might only generate $30,000 in profit. Now, at standard market rates, that business may cost you anywhere between $80,000, $100,000, or possibly even more. It all just depends. And now for most people, that is a lot of investment right up front. Con number two, you're buying someone else's problems. Now, every issue this cleaning business owner has ever previously had, it now becomes your problem. They have bad clients, if their client base is too spread out apart, if they have outdated methods, if their equipment's falling apart, well, now that all becomes yours because you've essentially bought this entire business, both the good and the bad. Con number three, thin margins. Now, my wife and I sold our first cleaning business and we were barely doing 10% profit margins. Now, I'm not saying everyone's operating under those margins, but it does happen a lot. And I know for us at the time, we just didn't know better. So it's definitely something you're gonna wanna consider. Con number four, staff turnover. Remember I said, when you buy a business, you have the cleaners. And now that is definitely true. In situations like this, employees often quit when the business changes hands, so it forces you to train and hire new people immediately. And the reason why this happens is you may have people who are stuck in their ways or flat out, they're just resistant to change. So again, it's one of many things that you have to consider. Con number five, locked in. Now, you are stuck with their business model, which usually means juggling 30 to 50 smaller clients just to make ends meet. One of the most common things about cleaning businesses being sold is that they are rarely ever 100% residential or 100% commercial. It's typically a mix of both, which I'll be honest with you, sucks. So what you have to ask yourself here is, sinking $100,000 into a business that is going to be pulling in hopefully $30,000 a year, but it demands a lot of hours a week, does that make sense for you? Because that is what many cleaning business buyers end up with. Food for thought. Now let's explore starting your own cleaning business from scratch. And first, we're gonna start with the pros. Starting with pro number one, low startup costs. You can launch with a few hundred to a few thousand versus the $80,000 or even $100,000 that you would have spent buying the business. So yeah, starting from scratch, common sense. Pro number two is clean slate. You're not inheriting any problems or any difficult clients. You get to build the business exactly the way you want it from day one. Pro number three is you get to use the modern approach. You can use the latest methods and technology, softwares and systems without resistance from day one. If your ultimate goal is to be automating 90% of this business, and that's really desirable to you, then this is a key pro. Pro number four is you get to choose your own model. Now, you're free to target high-paying commercial contracts who are happy to pay you $5,000 monthly instead of focusing your attention on lower margin commercial accounts or even residential work. So obviously, it's a completely different ballgame starting. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that starting a business is all sunshine and rainbows. There are definitely some challenges you're gonna face, so let's be real about those. And now we're gonna jump to the cons of starting from scratch. So con number one is zero initial income. So since you're starting from scratch, you'll have no money. coming in until you land your first set of clients, which I know that's pretty obvious, but it's an important point to point out. Con number 2, slower growth potentially. If you have no background in getting clients, pricing, creating proposals, things like that, then I won't lie to you. It could take you up to 6 months before you're generating solid income. Now, obviously, if you know what you're doing, then that's gonna dramatically lower that timeline. Like my average student who is brand new typically will land their first office contract within 30 days. Why? It's because they know what they're doing. So your know-how and skills are definitely going to affect how fast this money starts coming in. Con number 3, no track record. Clients may be hesitant to hire you without references or history. Now, the only way to truly overcome this is by having a brand and a social media presence that screams, "This is a professional." This is yet another thing I help my clients do, starting from scratch. Build a brand in a way that no one even questions if you're new or not. So, all right, con number 4, the learning curve. You need to develop your own systems and processes. Now, don't let this part scare you, because if you choose the right business model, then it's not gonna be a big deal, which I'm gonna explain in a minute. But the hardest part of starting fresh isn't figuring out who's gonna do the cleaning. It's finding those first few clients. But here's what's interesting. This challenge can actually push you to build a stronger, more profitable business from day one without sinking 100K into it. So here's my $1 million question for you. Which model will you build? Now, that question may feel like it came out of left field. It's more important than should you buy or should you start from scratch? Because the way I see it, there are 2 completely different ways to run a cleaning business. There's the volume way and the micro way. The volume way, which is by far the most common approach, I look at that as the old way. Get 30 to 50 customers, each paying anywhere between $150 and $300 per clean. And on average, even with smaller commercial, bringing in about $500 per customer. Doing it this way, you're gonna need tons of clients just to make some decent money, and you're constantly gonna be chasing new customers, managing complex schedules, and you're gonna be competing with everyone on price. And believe me, I hate to make it sound so depressing, but that is what so much of it is. So much of this industry has become that. So few businesses in this space have the actual business that they want, the one they dreamed about. So they end up just creating a complicated job for themselves, and they think it's just is what it is, but it doesn't have to be that way. So if it's not the volume model, what are we talking about then? We're talking about the micro model, AKA the Mike Mack approach. This is the smarter way, in my opinion. What do you think is better? Stacking up 30 to 50 clients with a mixture of residential and commercial and paying on average of $500 a month? Or just having 3 to 10 commercial offices each paying anywhere between $4,000 and $6,000 per month on contract. Now, I of course can't answer that for you, but the way I see it, just 3 good office clients can generate $12,000 to $18,000 monthly. And all you have to do is focus on a few valuable clients, keep them extremely happy instead of constantly hunting for new business all the time. Most cleaning businesses that are up for sale are following the volume method. Why? Well, because they're newer, of course, and they're too profitable to give up. They're just easy to automate. You only have a handful of customers. But when you're buying a business, you're almost always buying into the volume model with all of its headaches. But when you start fresh, you can choose a more profitable path. So I have to ask, which model wins for you? Let me know by commenting below. For most people, starting from scratch with just a focus on commercial clients is clearly the better path. Here's why. Lower risk. Starting cost, a few grand or less versus 80 to 100K. Better margins. The micro model delivers 30 to 40% profit margins versus 10 to 20 with traditional businesses. Simpler operations. What's easier? Managing 30 to 50 residential and commercial, or just managing 3 to 5 higher end commercial? More freedom. Fewer clients means less chaos and more control over your time. And higher income potential. $3,000, $4,000 to $6,000 per month commercial clients equals 30 plus residential clients. By now, you could probably see clear as day why starting fresh with the right model makes more sense than buying. And if you agree with that, then you're probably like, tell me more about this micro business. How do I start one? How do I get going? Then you're gonna wanna watch this video ASAP because it's gonna break it all down for you. I'll see you over there.